Welcome everyone. My name is Mare Cromwell and I am a Gaia communicator and Gaia priestess, and I am here with my very good friend Cornelis Cuperus, who is an extraordinary nature mystic and wizard who's based in the Netherlands. And we are going to do another nature spirit teach today on the dwarves and their role with the crystals. They have some important messages that they want to get out to the world. So I'm going to pass this over to Cornelis, Jan, and Cornelis, so what do the dwarves want us to learn?
Well, there's a bunch of them here now, and they spoke to me just now about how they create crystals in the ground, and it feels to them like it's important for us to know about the spirit of crystals. And what they're basically saying right now is you're using up way too much of them. That's literally how they say it. And they feel like they miss respect, they miss love, and they would love for us to connect with crystals differently. Maybe not so much harvesting. And when you have crystals in your house, it's a waste to put them on a display and just leave it there. They say it's not serving you, it's not serving the crystal, it's not serving the whole. And please use your crystals when you wear them, charge them, treat them with love and respect. And yes.
So how do you charge a crystal? I think people might need to know that if they don't know.
The dwarves say, ask us. And I know there are a million kinds of ways to charge crystals, but
how would the dwarves like us to charge crystals? With love and gratitude, I'm sure, but there's more than that.
Yes, exactly. And there are a million ways to charge the crystals, but they would what they mean by it is please invite us in when you are recharging your crystals, when you're loving them up. Please invite the dwarves in when you are doing so, because it's one of their many special talents. They have been there with the creation of the crystals, and they helped them taking on shape and form deep within the earth. They helped the spirit of the crystal to enter its physical body in this realm, and they helped this crystal to be fully embodied with the spirit of the crystal. And this is what's really important. And if you want to have a good charged crystal, it should be very well in touch with its spirit.
So is there a special way to call in the crystals? I mean, sorry, not to call in the crystals, to call in the dwarves?
Oh, the dwarves, yes. They're showing me pictures now. It's very important to be very well grounded. If you have a nice, quiet place in your house or in your garden, I feel your garden would be even better. Sit on the floor, barefooted, with your tailbone on the ground, and really do a deep grounding. And when you're in this,
sit on the ground.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And sink your energy way deep, like to Mother Gaia's heart.
Exactly. Yes. And when you're in that state, it's really easy to, or much easier to connect with the dwarves.
And then do we make offerings to them to invite them in? I mean, how do you call out to them, or that you know them so well, they probably just immediately showed up, but someone who hasn't worked with them before, how do you call them in? Is it just basically say, I'm calling on the dwarves, I send my love to the dwarves?
I usually just ask them, and I ask if the dwarves will appear, if they want to show up, or I'm telling a little story about what my plans are. For instance, I'm going to re-energize these crystals are there any dwarves who are willing to help me with this? For instance, something like that. It can be in your own words. And if you want to bring an offering, that's also very often very much appreciated. The dwarves love ale. They love a good, how do you call it, honey mead?
Uh-huh.
They love that too.
Okay. So put that out for them. And would you put that out in advance of you going out there and sitting on the ground, or you bring that with you?
Can be both. You can also do it afterwards as a thank you for the assistance.
And we should probably tell people that when we do make these types of offerings and it looks like there's still mead left or ale left in the little glass, they've taken the energy from it. So don't think you can drink it.
No.
It's really not good. They've taken the energy from it. That's what they sort of draw in that supports them.
Yes.
Okay, so ask them to help us charge the crystals. Or we can use the same word, to activate the crystals.
Yes. Yes.
And what do they think about us clearing crystals? Do they have any guidance for us on that? Because the crystals have been handled by a lot of people usually before we access them.
It's very good. It's very good to do so. And they're talking about wounded spirits now. When these crystals are harvested, these crystal spirits very often are actually in pain because of the unloving manner in which it is done.
That was the sense I had. I'm so glad to hear this directly from the dwarves. Wow.
So I think an apology ceremony would be very nice as well.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I'm feeling now.
To the crystals.
Yes.
Inviting the dwarves to be part of it and support it. Wow. Okay. And is this an apology ceremony where we write a letter to them and we burn it? Or what kind of apology ceremony are we talking about? Or I guess there are many different kinds, of course.
Yes, I think again, everybody should follow their own intuition on this, but what you're saying works for me, writing a letter and burning it.
And understanding how sensitive the crystals are and how they are not harvested with respect, with love. So, you know, a lot of people have a lot of crystals. And what do you recommend? What do they recommend? What do the dwarves recommend that these people do with all these crystals? They're not using all of them in an active way.
Well, they say it's great to connect with crystals and work with crystals, but you don't need so many. And one of the beautiful things you can do if you have a lot of crystals is, for instance, give them back. And you can also make a ceremony out of this. You can bury them in your yard or in a beautiful place in nature, and also clear them before death, so you don't leave excess energy, which is hard on the local region. But you can give them back, and also think of these intentions you're having with them, or speak them out loud, so the environment is aware of what you're doing.
So we haven't talked about how to clear crystal. What do they recommend? I mean, I've got ways I've learned how to do it, but I'm curious what the gnomes would like us to do.
The dwarves would...
the dwarves.
They would like us to work with the elements. Fire, wind, water, rain, earth. Earth is really good.
Okay, help me understand more. How do we work with the elements to clear the crystals?
Well, I have this necklace wearing right now. And this necklace I've had for many years. Now I'm actually second guessing it because of all the stuff that's coming through right now, but it is what it is. I have it on me right now. And I love to hang it in the tree every now and then when it's a nice windy day. And then I ask the spirits, the air spirits, and also the tree spirit to clear it for me. And it always happens.
So so let me ask the dwarves a question then. What do they think about us putting crystals in water with salt in the sun? That's what I've been taught, and I share with others, as a way to clear the crystals.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so that's
That's all.
good too.
Yes.
And give it a couple of days in the sun until you intuitively get the message that it's clear.
Mm.
But to be able to hang it in a tree or put it in a tree so the wind can take care of it or help clear it is good too.
Yes.
It may disappear though. Nature spirit might come along and think, oh, what a fun gift.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So the recommendation for people then is, before you go out and buy another crystal, if you feel like you have a lot and you're not using all of them, then hesitate from buying, restrain yourself, and look at the crystals that you have and love them up. Clear them, use them more actively, charge them, ask the dwarves to help you with that.
Yes.
This is actually a huge topic. How do they want us to use them? There's so many ways to use crystals. Are there some particular ways that the dwarves think is the most important way?
That depends on the type of crystal, but what they said just now is, and they think it's important for me to say this, is we're not holding grudges when you're unaware of anything.
Good. That's good
So,
to know. We don't want them like
you
really.
think, yes, oh my God, I've been doing this for so many years. They're not holding grudges.
Good. Thank you for understanding that we're ignorant humans, most of us. We're trying to learn, and that's why you and me are doing this video.
Yes.
Okay, but still then, how do they want us to use them?
You can have, for instance, just one crystal, which helps you to communicate and be more aligned with your own spirit, for example. This is actually a very powerful crystal. It's like you are building a personal relationship with this stone or crystal. So if you have one and you're wearing it around your neck, or you have it in your house somewhere or on your altar, that would be a really good place. This would be like a personal relation with this crystal spirit, and this crystal spirit will actually help you to activate things in your own system. And it's very hard to say it's like this or it's like that, because there are numerous variations, which depends on the human and on the type of crystal and how they interact. And
so we need to just follow our guidance and see what kind of crystal we're called to work with. But you're saying work with just one. They're saying work with just one crystal.
Yes.
Oh my, I have more than one crystal.
I do too.
I mean, I'm definitely not going to be buying any more at all. I don't need any more. It's becoming clear. I mean, I'm sure that the dwarves have a message for those who harvest them, ones that go into the caves in the mountains, wherever they find them. And then there are places like Arkansas in the United States where people just take them off the ground. I mean, do they have any, I'm sure they would like to communicate something to those people, because not a lot of reverence and love is used in the harvesting of these crystals. Is there anything the dwarves want to share there?
Well, they're actually very happy about Arkansas right now. I didn't know about how the workings there, but there is something going on there, which maybe there are people who are aware of it. I don't know, but they are happy and content about how the things about the way how things are going right now.
Oh, good. That's great to hear. I have met a woman who said she goes to Arkansas, but she only harvests from a place of like deep love, and she does ceremony. So
beautiful.
Perhaps there are a lot of people doing that then. That's wonderful. I don't know what the dwarves want to share about those who are in other parts of the world, though, whose business is to harvest them and sell them.
Could be like that one, you know.
Yeah, okay.
That would be really helpful.
They need to be educated as to how to love the crystals up, and maybe leave more of them in the ground. I mean, I know this is probably the only way that people can make their living, and they're eking out an existence as best as they can.
And if you want to give back for everything we've been receiving, you know about the nature spirit ceremony, in which you become a channel of light. This is something they appreciate very, very much.
Well, people don't know this though within this interview. We did that in the webinar. By the way, Cornelis and I, total aside, we did a webinar together, a 5-session webinar in February, which is available on my website, and the link is going to be in the text below here. That meditation is in that webinar. Oof. I don't know if we have time to guide people through that right now, but just visualizing yourself as a channel, like connecting with creation.
Yes.
And with Mother Gaia, and calling in their divine love, and doing a ceremony from that place is
then
really
asking to be a channel of light for, in this case, the dwarfs. Yes.
Beautiful. Can you talk more about the dwarves? Like, what did they look like? You said they've been coming in and they're around you right now.
Yes, they're a little bit chubby. They don't like me saying that.
No offense, guys.
No, they're big boned. And I think if I'm standing up, they're about here. So it's 1.50 m. I don't know the American metric system.
So close to 2 yards, maybe 5 feet, 4.5 feet. Okay.
And I see them being bearded, and I see them being decorated with golden necklaces and bracelets, and they love their jewelry. And it's like they're showing it on purpose right now, because they're showing the beautiful, beautiful things they are able to make, and they're really proud of their craft.
So they also work with the gold and the silver in the ground, then. It's not just
and the iron.
Crystals and iron. And I was reading from some other people who work closely with the nature spirits the other day about how the ones who work with the gold and the silver, the really precious metals, have even a higher spiritual resonance. They're more, I'd love to know what they want to share about that. Maybe they can confirm what I was reading from these other people. Is it a different type of dwarf? I guess that's the question.
Not really a different type, but they do have different specialties. So some are really good at working with gold, and others are more active with the crystals. And it's in a greater sense, it's all about bringing spirit into matter, bringing high spirit into matter. So this goes for working with the crystals, but also with the gold and also with the iron. There's a lot of woundedness there still.
Woundedness in the gold and the silver.
Yes, and also in the iron.
Because of how people have been harvesting the gold and the silver and the iron.
And how they've been using it, yes.
We need to be so much more conscious and reverent with all of these metals. Wow. Do they ever come to the surface of the ground, or they're all underground?
But they do surface from time to time, yes. But they feel more comfortable in the earth.
And they would be only in caves, or they meld into the actual rock layers to do the work they do?
Both, yes.
Fascinating. This is what happens when you're multidimensional.
Yes, and I've seen them materializing on several places at a certain point a while ago.
Do you know why they came forward at that time?
At that time, they came to collect energy. We were doing a ceremony.
This is how powerful it is for us to do ceremony and to bring that energy forward then from the spirit teams that we call in as part of the ceremony. Is it feeds these beautiful nature spirits.
Yes.
Huge, absolutely huge. So do you want to talk? You were getting a message from them before we started about priestesses. They have priestesses.
Yes. This was actually new for me. It was really fun to have been given a glance into this part of their life. They have actually priests who are very in tune with the elements, and it's like they are the creators of the metals and the crystals and everything. And these priests, they work with fire and with earth and with air, and they help literally they're saying they help embody the crystal spirit. So it's like they're tuning into very high frequency energies. Even the roof is going wonky here right now when I'm doing this.
I know. What was that? Is there a priest that just landed on your roof?
I don't know, something is going on. It's
Oh.
FUN and Rollicking. Yes.
Ah, okay. I hope that's a message that he appreciates what we're doing here.
Yes. Because he's helping channeling it.
So you might need to introduce who Manon McLeary is for those who don't know him. He's so powerful, but please, you work closely with him.
Yes, Manon McLeary is a god. He's known mostly from Celtic mythology. He's the god of the sea. His name literally means son of the sea. And he's a really powerful being. He's very, very old, very ancient. And some of the tasks he performs are purifying, clearing, cleaning atmospheres, making sure everything stays aligned to the greater plan. He can be a bit of a warrior sometimes too. When things go off, things are not like they're supposed to be, then he can really barge in at times.
And clear energies intensely.
Yes.
Like
yes.
when we were doing the webinar, he kicked up that huge storm that was clearing major energy at that time in February.
Yes, he works with weather a lot indeed. Earthquakes, storms.
And he's very closely bonded with the dwarves too. That's what you were saying.
Yes. And that is what came through today as well. And now I understand why. In that moment not, but he told me he was really tight with the dwarves. He lost them a lot, and he lost working with them. And it's like they are the ground crew for all these high frequency energies, and he is above it, helping them channel it, keeping the channel clear. Keeping it free from interference and stuff like that.
Wow. This is so interesting. So it's like there's a whole team of nature spirits that work together. And would you say they're activating the crystals when they bring in the different elements, these priests? Is that a way to word it?
You could say that, yes.
They're bringing the spirit in, quote unquote, and they're helping to raise the energy within the crystals. And the crystals, I'm sure themselves, when they really wake up into their own consciousness, would love to maintain that really high level of activation, which is why it's so important to work with them with love and gratitude and bless them when you receive them. Wow. I have another question about the dwarves, and then we should probably wrap things up. But do they live in, they must live in communities then, deep down underground, where you find these crystals and veins of gold and silver and iron. And they're dwarf babies and dwarf wives, and and they exist off the energy within the earth.
How do you mean this last question?
Well, I'm becoming probably too anthropomorphic, but I'm wondering, like, if they live in villages down there and they have their work, do they feed on anything? What is it that keeps them going?
I see great hallways, and those hallways are also decorated with beautiful fine art, and they're like this is how it feels to me right now. They're like channels of energy. So they're giving and receiving, and it's like a flow. And they're really good at channeling that flow, but also creating with that flow. Oh, that's something we could learn as well from them.
Wow.
Using your own energy channel, or being an energy channel, and manifesting in this world, because that's what they're doing.
Wow, big teachers for us. Is there anything else they want us to share right now within this teaching?
They're really happy and content right now. And as far as the crystals go, it's already clear we don't need that many. They really like to stress that out. But they're also saying you can also connect to the grid in the earth. We are creating this grid of crystals in the earth, and we're putting those crystals exactly where they're supposed to be. And sometimes they are gifts for humans, and sometimes they need to stay in place, but you can still work with them. You can still communicate with them if you leave them in the place.
From a distance, you mean?
From a distance.
You know, one thing you and I talked about before we started recording is people who create crystal grids on their own. What do the dwarves want to say about that? Do they have any teachings about that? Do they like that?
It's like don't exaggerate. That's the right word. It feels a bit too much sometimes, and it's not like it's all wrong, but we could tone it down a notch. Yes.
Okay. So really weigh whether it is of the wisest, the highest good for Mother Gaia.
Yes,
and the
exactly.
crystals to create as many grids as people create. Because probably, is it true to say there's a lot of these crystals don't want to be in a grid like that? They'd rather be used otherwise?
Well, the woundedness from the harvesting and the woundedness from all other aspects of not being used and handled in the highest way possible, it works through everything you do. So it does dim the energy, and it does, or it can, I should say, when you work with grids, I think it's really good to recognize this, what we're talking about. And if you have a grid in your house, or if you have a grid you use quite often, maybe it would also be good to talk to each and every one of those crystals and see if they really want to be there. And if they don't want to be there, it would be a good idea to give them back to Mother Nature, to Mother Gaia, for instance.
By
doing an apology or clearing them.
By clearing them and putting them back in the ground someplace where you're guided.
Yes.
But again, where people travel and they're making crystal grids, the dwarves are saying, be very judicious about this. And part of what I'm hearing from what they're sharing through you is that there are already grids in the earth.
Yes.
That are natural, where the crystals are found.
And they are perfectly aligned and exactly how they should be.
And they're sufficient. Is that a good word to say? So maybe focusing on just sending love into those grids that are already there would be more helpful for Mother Gaia.
Big party over here when you're saying that.
I was just getting that. Yeah, I can feel that energy. Okay, wow, this has been rich. So is there anything else they want us to share so we can wrap this up?
We're good.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we end this, I just want to put it out there to everyone watching that Cornelis and I are also co-leading a retreat in October in the Netherlands on Ameland Island off Friesland, called Ancient Codes for Loving Up Our New Earth. And we're going to be working a lot more with the nature spirits and offering messages from Mother Gaia, ancient codes that we've both been downloaded into us to help people really be activated to be beautiful midwives for the new earth coming in. So please check out the link below that'll be in the text. If you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. There's still room for some people. And again, the webinar that Cornelis and I did in February is available as a package. It was so rich doing that webinar in February. There were so many spiritual activations, and so much came through, including Madeline McLear and this huge storm and powerful energy. Oh my gosh, we were all reeling from that for a week. But it's beautiful. And so thank you everyone who joined us, and thank you, Cornelis. Is there anything you want to share about any upcoming activities or events you've got?
No, I'm good for now. Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you, everyone. And again, so much love and gratitude to the dwarves and all the crystals. And they wanted us to do this teaching. We were going to do another topic and they really wanted this. So they're in control.
Yes.
All right. Love to everybody.